Hey everybody, it's your pal Drew, and 30-year comic book industry veteran, Marvel, DC, and everybody else. Uh, I'm also a three-time author on Amazon exclusives. I have a series called The Demands, a three-book series about a fictional band of the same name in Pittsburgh, an indie band led by a young woman named Lainey Kilburn, who falls in love with the son of the head of the local arm of the Russian mob, and things get really ugly stuff. Anyway, check it out. They got previews on Amazon, and it's available paperback and Kindle. All right, now, okay, managed to get that out. I'm trying to be succinct, so I get right to the subject at hand. So the 80s were a really great time for experimentation. I mean, the 90s were too, but then you had a billion imitators of the Image founders. So a lot of those books just don't hold up. But there were some great ones also. This new wave, which is only 50 cents, this came out in 86 or 87. I'm just too lazy to look at the Adisha. And the reason it says only 50 cents is it pretty much Eclipse's whole line of comics were like $1.75 because he used this thick paper called Baxter paper. And so the expenses were higher. And I actually didn't buy a lot of these kind of comics because regular comics were 75 cents for DC and Marvel. But I guess this was to grab people like me who were like, it's out of my financial range or my budget, whatever you want to say. Nice cover. I really like that. And be prepared. Beautiful art. Lee Weeks, inked by Ty Templeton. Two great creators. This is early in their career. It's like 1986 or so. And I like the colors too. Ron Courtney. I don't know what happened to him. I'm just throwing stuff out. Well, the story's great. Oh, who wrote it? I'm sorry. Oh, Mindy Newell. She scripted it, and I'll just show you the art. It's way too much to explain, but look at that beautiful art. I love it. Lee Weeks. Wow. And this is how it was back then. It was like indies were the farm team. You see a lot of major creators who started off with... Eclipse was a really good stepping stone for a lot of top-notch creators like Tim Truman and Chuck Dixon and others. But this color is great. It's really ambitious for the time. I like the orange and then the red. It's just really well done. It's not oversaturating the line work. But, okay, I got that there. I think it's the only copy I have on me right now. Speaking of Ty Templeton, 2 years prior he did this book. It was pretty well reviewed in fanzines and Amazing Heroes and such. Stig's Inferno, which is a sole creation of Ty Templeton, who, however, this is a Paul Ravoche cover. You should look up his work. Paul Ravoche is amazing. The colors. Well, this is about this guy named Stig going to hell, and the artwork is just beautiful. And Ty Templeton's doing this story and all the art, and it's so amazing. I don't know how old he was, but he already knew who he was style wise. I mean, this is already very professional stuff. I don't know what he did before this, but it's great. Well, basically, it starts with our protagonist, Stig, who kind of complains a lot, and he has weird observations. Well, his house is haunted by these demon-type gremlins that he's been accepting of them, just annoyed as all hell. They slam a piano on his head, and then he ends up in hell. I love this page where it talks it could, it tells you what happens, how it feels going down into hell. But look how the lettering sinks to the very bottom if you go panel by panel across. Really cool stuff. Only thing is, I only have the first 2 issues, and I have no idea why he is sent to hell. I mean, he hadn't done anything bad as far as I read it a couple times. He lands, and it's broad comedy in some places, but it's still. My legs are cold. Who took my pants? More important, who took my underwear? So meanwhile, on the surface, I don't know what you call it, but on Earth, his girlfriend's trying to find where he is. Just astonishing stuff. And the backup is by Ty Templeton, but the finishes are by a guy named Anthony Van Bruggen. I never heard of him either, but it's nice stuff. It actually has a bit of that Ninja Turtles feel to it, as far as inking and the shades and stuff. I mean, he's not using duotone like the Turtles had, but a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. Second issue. I don't know how many issues came out. I don't even know if there were 5 issues that came out. Beautiful cover. Stuff so scary, you'll get all upset. And this guy catches the new reader up to date. Look how amazing that is. That is just, wow. I don't know what he did before, but it'd be interesting. It's just really, really fun. And these demons bicker on how to, on who gets to carry this guy around, this Stig guy. And he goes, I did lifting last time, your turn. I've got Lumbongo, Vomit Head. I'm permanent shift foreman now. I like this one. Alright, carry on then. Oh, and see about turning up the heat in the 6th circle. I thought I heard giggling in there last year. I don't want to spoil too much. It's just really, really great stuff. As you can see. Mm-hmm. And the funny thing is, I mean, I was already a fan of his. This backup is by someone else. I don't remember. I'll have to look. Good. It's a lot of bang for your buck. What's amazing is I had the fortune of inking some pages of Ty Templeton on a Spider-Man / Human Torch miniseries. I got to do parts of the last 2 issues, and I was already buying it. And it's weird when you're a freelancer and you're drawing a book, and then they ask you to do future pages or pages of the next issue or 2, because it's like spoilers. It's great, but it's also spoilers. Okay. Eternity Comics was great too. They came along in the mid 80s, and they put out a lot of stuff, and most of it was pretty good. Some of it was cheap knockoff anime, like American anime. I love this cover. It's very Keith Giffen-like. Very Keith Giffen-like. But Malibu, Eternity, and some other company were essentially the same. The art here is by, bear with me, Frank Turner, story and art. And it's really good. If anybody says anything about her squarish jaw, just look at Brian Bolland, how he does women. He gives them, like, strong jaws. So, I think it looks fine to me. And I don't know how many issues of Probe came out. That almost looks like the Eclipse book, Strike, where it has a guy and his son are both superheroes or super agents of something. But it's beautiful, beautiful stuff. Number 3. I'll have to hunt down the other one sometime. Death Hunt. Yeah, here's the stuff that just doesn't grab me. Nice use of zip there. Ziptones' dot pattern. It comes in a lot of sizes as far as density. really good stuff. A lot of stuff, and you get a lot for your money on this. And it's solid. It's very solid. It's good. I'm not grading these comics like I did on the other ones because they're all pretty good. I mean, I can't really, I can't really say, oh, this stunk, or I didn't think this such and such. I mean, that's for a later channel episode. Terraformers by art by Kelly Jones and inked by some Sinclair. Issue 1, and it's got color. See, 195. That was so detrimental. There was such a wall between me and these comics. Is I just couldn't afford them. I mean, I could, but I have to really, really cut back. I think some of the only books I got were like Nexus and Badger. So you see Kelly Jones, a young Kelly Jones, who had penciled, what was it? Micronauts. He did the second series, which is 1 through 20, and his stuff just gets better and better. Here, he's totally channeling Michael Golden. And that's a very Michael Golden style. And you can see, like, later on, the Image founders would kind of cop this style just without the correct anatomy. A lot of color, a beautiful. My only hang up here, I'm trying to see who wrote it. Peter Quinillos, whatever. Pardon, I'm sorry, I got it wrong. If I got it wrong, Kelly Jones and Jim Sinclair. My only hang up is, look at this wall of text. It starts off with some armor that's terraforming, exactly like the cover promises, and it goes on and on and on. I love this. This guy goes into like a pneumatic tube and enters another robot, takes off. Lovely art, but there's so much going on, and look at that. That's really ahead of its time. He's been looking at some manga when it comes to that kind of stuff. And again, it's got like golden influences. My big problem is it really assumes that you know all the characters. It really does. So I was completely lost, and I really didn't have any singular person to care about. It's all very, just facts, ma'am. There you go. See a little tease of the Bernie Wrightson influence that Kelly would get later on. And it's, you definitely, like I said, the other one, you get a lot of bang for your buck, but I just don't care about any of these characters. I really worked hard at it. There was no, there are stakes, but it's, you always need personal stakes as well as, big, destruction type stakes, a little more of that Wrightson feel. So, but you see all this jibber jabber, and I don't mind jibber jabber too much, but it really assumes that you know all the characters, and that's the big thing that is a total turn off to me. But it's worth it for Kelly Jones art. You can already see he's like he's coming along too, just like Ty Templeton. I don't know how he just, I'll have to look him up on. I don't love any of his stuff before 1984. Now this book here is kind of goofy. I like odd comics that come out like from a single publisher, and he's sort of what do you call? He's one of those badasses who's not too bright. Gotta take a drink, please. Oh, excuse me, please. So it's sort of a parody on the tough guy. He's kind of like a Dirty Harry with a mask, domino masks. I really, really enjoy the cartooning in this, and it's all it's funny. It's and you can see he knows what he's doing. It's just he's using a humor style. Nice line work. And you know what else too? Clear storytelling. This came out in the 90s, actually. I'm cheating. It's not all 80s stuff. But it's all there. Totally fun. Dart rules. No gambling, no cheating. Don't throw darts at people's heads. good stuff. Fashion Risk. Oh man, I need to get my T-shirt. Oh, I think the offer has expired. So a lot of fun, Now, I got this out of the quarter bin right after the black and white peak and its downfall. All these books that were speculated on just because they were black and white, they ended up in the quarter bin. And I don't know what that is on there. Oh, not a big deal. It's like some kind of, I don't know what it was. I know it's not snot. It's not colored the same way. Well, this book, I love it because it's all word balloons in a variety of styles. Now, as a lot of Marvel fans may know, there was an issue of Alpha Flight where Snowbird fought one of the great beasts who was a white, kind of like Wendigo, and they're basically both white creatures, and they were fighting in the snow, and John Byrne spent like 6 pages doing this sort of stuff. And you know what? He got a lot of grief for it, but it was brilliant. I mean, I did not feel ripped off when I was buying that. I thought, wow, because the word balloons were pointing where you would think they might be. It's like you sort of knew what was going on, which is an amazing challenge. And they got the balls to do this throughout the whole book. And it is so fun. I love it. Invisiworld. So, thank God for like quarter bins. And I'm going to finish off with like an early 90s book. So, Vapor Lock. That is a fantastic name. The one artist that really stands out, I got a couple of these issues. It's a lot of fun. It's an anthology, and those usually don't sell very well because you'll have different styles, or like one character that people like, and they may not like the other character or two. Very, very light-filled. Just that kind of stuff. But you still can tell what's going on. It's got those cross-hatched eyes. Now, we go to this book. It's written by Joe Martin, pencils by Willie Peppers, and inked by Alan Freeman. This is the best in the book. It's really good. I'm like, what happened to this Willie Peppers guy? It's like I could easily see him working for Marvel or DC. I mean, he could do straight stuff. That's great. That kind of mouth where you're just kind of, whatever. That's really hard to do. And, yeah, I mean, these guys should have been doing something for Marvel or DC. Oh, anyway, it's sort of a revenge story, and there she is. The female Wolverine. Sort of Wolverine, sort of Elektra. But I like the costume a lot. I dig it. Doesn't seem detrimental, or not detrimental. Doesn't seem like it's a rip-off of either Wolverine or Elektra. It's its own thing. This book here, it's okay. It's very fanboyish, but, I'm not going to knock it because, again, clarity is the rule that makes a good comic. And here's Vapor Lock with story and art by, story and art by David Mack, who would go on to be a Daredevil artist for a while, and he's got a pretty big following, and that's from Doctor Strange 55. So, just saying it before anybody else posts it. But this is very raw David Mack, and the fact of the matter is, I did a lot of these kind of books for myself growing up, and even in my late teens, and this still, I mean, it was nowhere as good as this kind of stuff. That splats there, that's real inspired. Because, and later on, I had one of those artistic temper tantrums because I wasn't in the world of comics, so I actually threw away all my old comics in a fit of stupid frustration, and it's a drag because I had some really fun comics, but everybody in here is better than the stuff I had. I do remember that much. Well, I'm going to wrap it up, and I hope you liked it. I hope I wasn't too disjointed in my conversation, or listen to me conversation, my discussion about the issue. That's it. Whoops, excuse me. It would not be a Drew video without me coughing violently. Anyway, have a good Juneteenth, everybody.